morning, everybody. It's 3 a.m. I'm headed to go jump in a rake tractor because hay farming in the desert means everything's done at night in the summertime. We use a lot of moisture when we can. Sometimes we don't even get moisture. And so 3 a.m. is about the time. You have to plan everything backwards. You know the sun's going to come up at 5:30, so we need to be done with everything by 6:30. So if I start raking at 3, I'll probably get down there by 3:30, but I'll probably take me about 30 minutes to get there. I'll get there at 3:30. It's probably 2 hours worth of raking to do. Get done at 4:30. And the balers will be behind me raking. So they'll get done about 5:36 if all goes to plan. So that's why it's 3 o'clock and I'm headed to the field. Oh, holy smokes. It's not always like this. In the spring and the fall, it's evening and morning baling with dew. But this time of year, we don't get dew.
Oh yeah, I don't know if you guys can hear this. It's crunching a little bit, but it's mostly pretty soft. Good raking conditions. There we go. All right, it's go time. So I'm in a second field right now. I just made a lap. There's Brian. And it's a little bit green. I'm gonna show you how green it is real quick. They won't be able to bale this behind me, but there is no crunch to this hay. It's a little bit green, but it's very humid down here. We've got some moisture in this hay. So I'll probably rake it right now. I'll finish raking it, and then they'll probably bale it once the sun comes up. They'll bale it once the sun comes up. This hay's a bit green, but that's all right. It'll work out. It's a very small field. It'll be okay if it's a little bit heavy. Raking it this with this much moisture, I'll keep all the leaf on it. So even if they come in and bale it a little bit green, it'll still have a lot of leaf. It'll be a little heavy, but I would rather have it a little heavy than dry with no leaf. So anyways, raking's kind of funny because we have dirt barriers, physical barriers in our fields for the irrigation purposes. All of our fields are measured out to match our swather, an even number of passes. Because raking hay, we're doing two things. One, we're flipping the hay over so sun can get to the other side of it and it can cure. Two, we're combining 2 rows to 1. Now that baler, we just cut its passes up and down the field in half. So the stuff I was raking earlier this morning, they were baling right behind me. So I wasn't flipping it over to cure. I was flipping it over to help lower their passes through the field. I guess it does the third thing. After the swather lays it down, it lays down real flat. A baler wouldn't pick it up very well. So by the rake going over it, it rolls it over and kind of picks it up off the ground better. So it does that too, helps the baler pick it up. But also makes it more narrow. A baler can't pick up what a swather leaves behind. The swather's a little bit too wide. Anyway, so 3 things, not 2. I like to turn to the left. This rake, the right hand side sticks out further. So as I turn left, the right hand side swoops in and picks up the hay as I turn. But dry land farming, there aren't the dirt barriers for irrigation, so if you're a dryland farmer, you understand this. If you're not, those dryland guys just go. They just rake. They're not counting. They're not trying to have even number of passes. They're not measuring stuff out. That's what makes doing the hay, the swathing and raking in irrigation a little bit different. For baler, it doesn't matter. Odd number, even numbers, whatever. But for the swather and the rake, that's important. Anyways, hope you enjoyed it.
All right, I'm going to, I'm setting up a pad for stacking hay. I've got all my barns. Unfortunately, I'm gonna have to stack some hay this year. Tarp hay, I'm sorry. Tarp some hay, we always tarp hay. Been using this little scraper bucket. Hose is laying on the ground. Dang it. Okay. Do it the old Bales Hay sales way and find some string, and I'm gonna tie this sucker up. All right, found some rope. I'm going to tie the hose up so it doesn't drag the ground and rub a hole in it. Now all I'm gonna go do is take this old kind of not that nice scraper bucket and smooth out where we stack hay. I stacked hay there last year, so it's fairly flat, fairly smooth, but this will just get rid of the rough spots. So let's just tie this up. If this scraper bucket doesn't do a good enough job, I'll come back and get my old grader. So I've got 2 pads to clean up. That's one of them. There's already hay stacked on that other side. Oh, here's the second one. It's a little bit bigger. I'm gonna have to move those bales off that pad. I can smooth it out. I don't know, I might have to bring the grader up here. We'll see. We'll see what I can do. This thing is not very flat anymore. All right, finished smoothing things out to start stacking for tarps. I'm gonna call the tarp guy, tell them that's ready. He will lay down a base tarp. And now I've got to run into my office and set a quote up for a lady. She's about 450 miles away, and wants a mixed truckload of hay and a delivery fee. So I'm gonna run into the office and work on that real quick, because she asked me to do it last week and I keep forgetting. So I'm gonna go do that right now. So I'm headed down the road at the moment to look at the hay that they baled this morning. They started last night at 11. So they baled it last night. So they had plenty of moisture. Now that's a place where we custom harvest the hay and then we buy it from the farmer. We give them a quote and they say, yeah, great, take it. Or they say, well, no, let me try to get a better price from someone else. But I have a great relationship with this guy. He sprays all our weeds, and then all of our, because we don't own a sprayer, a spray coop or a spray rig. He owns a nice big one, so he does all our spraying. We do his custom harvest. Then we buy his hay. This field's kind of funny. It always has, I should say always, it generally makes real small stem. It's kind of funny, even though it's on its 3rd year, it still makes small hay. But earlier this morning I was out here and he had a little bit roadside. The bale wagon had some stacked up and it looked real pretty. But I wanted to come out and look at it now so I could determine where to put it, because I'm running out of space. I have 2 barns being built at the moment, but the barns I do have are pretty full, and I like to put specific hay in specific places. All my barns are set up, or well, are inventoried with all similar hay. But like I said, I'm running out of space, so we just started cutting Bermuda grass yesterday. So I'm about to have 10 truckloads of Bermuda grass come in. I need somewhere to put it. So I've got some barns that are down the road a little ways. I do not like putting Bermuda far away. Most of our Bermuda is sold by the bale in our sale barn, where the alfalfa could be either or. It could be on a truckload going across the country, or it could stay in our barn. So I like to put the alfalfa further away because there's going to be a truck over there loading, where the Bermuda grass can be moved. It needs to be close, easy access, easy to move it. So I'm just trying to determine what this hay is and where I want to put it. Do I want to put it in a barn? Do I want to start a tarp, a stack? What do we want to do? But from what I saw this morning, this stuff's going to be pretty nice. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Let's see if you guys can see it. Leafy, small stems. Very pretty hay. I'm going to call this hay number 1, definitely. As I go through, they change over time. This might be where they started, it was a touch dry, or where they ended, they got a touch dry. So it could go from number 1 up to premium quality. So I'll know as it goes. As I drive through and look at the hay, I'll be able to determine all of it. Let's get in the shade. Maybe you can get a better on the shaded side to see if you can see this leaf better. But sometimes that sun just takes out the color. So, yeah, I'm just going to call this a very good number 1 quality. That will go in barn 9 on the east side. Here's the next truckload. Man, that's pretty hay. That's what I like to see. You guys didn't realize hay got graded so many different ways. Oh my goodness. So I could have very leafy, very small stemmed hay, but it had morning dew bleach on it, or it got rained on it, all bleached out. So there goes the color, there goes the quality. It just went down to like a number 3. You could have very green, very leafy, big stemmed hay. Well, because the stems are big, guess what? Boom, down to a number 2 quality. You could have very small stem, very green, very leafy hay, lots of weeds in it. Well, I can't send weedy hay to customers. Like, weeds are probably the biggest killer in the quality. Weeds and rain. So weeds, whop, number 3. You could have very small stem, very green, but dry hay. Number 2. It doesn't have the leaf in it. Knock it down to a number 2. You got medium-sized stem hay with good leaf, good color. Solid number 2. But it interchanges, and a lot of guys don't have the space to store hay or the manpower to determine what each stack or truckload is. I physically or go through and look at every single stack. I'm either at the barns when they unload, or I drive through the field like I'm doing now and determine what the hay is. Most of the time, I just determine when it shows up to the barn, but because I am low on space, I wanted to get a little bit of a head start. So that's just another part of my day. And dang it, man, working on a well at the moment. I've got a well that's giving us issues. We just had a new motor put in it last night, and it's leaking a lot of water. So now I get to figure out why it's leaking. So anyways, I guess we're headed that way to look at this well. Once we look at that, we'll start hauling hay. So we have some employee housing on the farm here, and their well, the motor in their well went out yesterday. The well was replaced, and the guy texted me and said it's leaking out of the ground. Let's take a look at what we got. It was leaking before. They replaced it. I had to haul in a bunch of crusher fines. Well, a bucket of crusher fines. I think it's coming up. There's bubbles right there, but the water is definitely. So I need to have someone come start digging. That's quite a bit of water running off. All right. It's never just farming. It's never just farming. At least the well's fixed. At least they have water they can drink and shower and clean and whatever, but next problem. And it's not like it's cool out here. So whoever I choose to do the shoveling, they're going to be sweaty. In a few minutes, though, it'll be in the shade of that tree, so. Anyways, on to the next problem. Let's see who I go find to fix this, or dig it up anyways. I'll probably have to help fix it. So we're back at the well problem. Matt started digging. We found where it was leaking. Then realized we had to dig all the way back here to this point. 3 foot deep, 6 foot long, grassy. So now I get to run to the hardware store, getting that lunch. Right, Matt? Yeah. Right, Matt? And go back and fix this so 6 houses can have water. So, see, it's not always farming. I had to put someone else in the squeeze to get this taken care of. Ugh. It's hot too. What is it? 107. Or Matt's out digging. I helped a little bit, but he did most of the digging. I'm not going to take any of that from him. He's a hardworking kid. Ugh. Summer's rough. Well, here we are. Got the old pipe out. They didn't have any white PVC, so we got the Schedule 40 ABS. Everything's put back together. No leaks. And then Matt just pointed out our union's leaking. So, time to fix the union. Other than that, everything's looking good. I think. What's that? Uh-oh. Matt. Oh, that's not good either. Dang it. Oh, man. Tighten that thing pretty good, too. I even put liquid pipe dope on it. Dang it. And what stinks is that piece is glued to that piece, so I can't just thread it. It's going to have to work for a while. I don't want to shut these guys off of water again. We'll tighten that down, but this is just going to have to wait. Maybe Flex Seal. We'll get some Flex Seal. We'll Flex Seal it. Well, we pulled that union off, wire brushed it, put more Teflon on it. It still leaks. So I think the union is old and bad. Our water is very salty over here, so I'm not surprised. There's Matt cleaning a shovel. Good job, Matt. He'll probably never see this.
All right, the saga of this stupid well won't stop. It's been a few hours since we were working on it. People who live here called me, said they don't have any water. So I'm back over here. We're gonna see if there's water pressure. We're gonna see what is going on. Yeah, 0 water pressure. Let's flip this breaker. I flipped this thing like 5 times today. Nothing. All right. Screwdriver. Hit the reset button on this now. Screws loose. We brought a screwdriver. All right. Oh, it's a different. Ah, he changed it out. I don't know how to work this one. This was different from yesterday. Reset. Ooh. Did you guys hear that? Does that mean the well's on now? Let's reset it. No pressure. What does that mean? No, just turn yourself off. Dang it, man. Do this. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know why I'm pushing it really fast. It's like you get electrocuted, it doesn't matter. All right, time to call the well guy because this is past my my abilities. I'll let you know what happens. All right. Well, I don't know why it tripped, but it did trip. I hit the reset quite a few times, and it finally went on. But you shouldn't have to hit the reset 3 or 4 times. Almost electrocute yourself. But 620, 109 still. Welcome to the desert.